Today we're going to talk about consumer credit. So the first thing we're going to talk about is installment plans. So an installment plan is when you make a purchase on credit. The buyer tends to put down part of the cost of the item, so it's called a down payment. And then the buyer makes installments or scheduled payments on a regular basis. Most of the time it's monthly. I have seen where it's weekly. There's a furniture place that will let you rent to buy furniture. I think it's called Rent Town, and which actually means rent to own. And but you got to make weekly payments, and it's expensive. You end up paying a lot more for the furniture than it would have cost you if you had gone to a furniture store and bought it. But if you don't have money, it might be something that works for you. So the buyers are charged interest on the amount that is financed. Okay, so deferred payment plan. Okay, just as in an installment plan, the buyer takes possession of the purchased item immediately, but with a deferred payment plan, the buyer pays no interest on the borrowed amount if it is paid off in the agreed upon time. These are often advertised as 90 days, same as cash, or something like that. The buyer must still make regular agreed upon payments, and if it is not paid on time, then the interest is often charged back to the day of purchase. So they still do sometimes, but they used to do furniture like this all the time. They'd get you to come in, you didn't have to pay anything out of pocket, you took your furniture home, and then you might have a year, no interest, no payments. Okay, but the thing was, it had to be paid off before the end of that year, because if it wasn't, then you had to go back and pay all the interest that would have accrued during that time. So, if you had the money saved up, it was kind of like an interest-free loan if you use that. Or if you didn't have it, you could make payments to yourself essentially into a savings account and then take that money before the end of the year and pay off your furniture. And then you paid no interest, which was a great deal. Okay, a layaway plan. A layaway plan, the buyer does not get the item at the time of purchase. So these used to be really popular in the 50s and 60s and even into the 70s. You don't see them very much anymore, although I did see kind of a small comeback in them last year. So what happens is you go and you find the item that you want in the store, and you tell them you want to put it in a layaway plan, and then the store will keep the item until it's paid for. And they usually charge you a fee for doing that, but they take it off the shelf and they keep it with your name in the back. And then once it's paid, then you can go pick up the item. Okay, so Carlos Santana wants to purchase a new electric guitar. The price of the guitar is $15,250. If Carlos can save $250 a month playing smooth in the Pioneer Square, how long will it take him to save up for the guitar? Okay, well, it's a pretty simple question. He has to get $15,250, and he can save $250 a month, so he's going to go ahead and divide that in there. Just use a calculator, and that comes out to 61 months. Now, that might not be the best deal for Carlos. If he needs that guitar, he doesn't have to. I mean, that's like 5 years. That's over 5 years. So he doesn't want to wait 5 years to do that. He may have to do it on credit. Okay, so he's got $3,100 in the bank. If he makes a 20% down payment on the guitar, Carlos can finance the remainder of the balance at 12% for 5 years. This gives him a monthly payment of $271. So how much is the finance charge? So let's answer that question first. So how much is the finance charge? We'll do that in blue. Okay, so how do you figure out the finance charge? Well, he's going to make monthly payments of $271 for 5 years. So 271 times 12 because there's 12 months in a year. So 271 times 12 is $3,252. And then he's going to do that for 5 years, so we're going to multiply that by 5. Times 5. So that's $16,260 that he's going to pay. Now, that's in payments. He also paid $3,100 in a down. Oh, let's see. No, he made a 20% down payment. So let's figure that out. 15,250 times 0.2. That's 20%. That comes out to $3,050. Okay, so how much did he pay for this guitar? He paid his down payment plus his monthly payments. So we go ahead and add that together. That's $16,260. So he paid $19,310 for the guitar. Okay. Now, the cost of the guitar was $15,250. So we'll go ahead and subtract that. That leaves $4,060. That's the finance charge. Okay. So he had to pay an extra $4,060 to get that guitar right now. Now, if Carlos can make $400 a month playing on the new guitar, is it a better deal for him to save for the guitar or to buy it on credit? Okay, this is an entirely different question here. So, let's see. If he made payments, or I'm sorry, if he could make $400 a month for that 5 years, so that's 60 months. That means he made $24,000. Okay, so if before he was making $250 a month for that 60 months, that's $15,000. So he made an extra $9,000 by buying the guitar now. So this is plus $9,000. Okay. Now it cost him $4,060. But he made an extra $4,940 that he would not have made by buying it on credit. So that's a better deal for him to purchase the guitar on credit than it was to save for it. So if Carlos can make $400 a month playing on a new guitar, it's a better deal for him to save for the guitar or to buy it on credit. In this case, it was to buy it on credit. He made an additional $4,940. Now, it doesn't always work out that way, but in this case, it did. He made an extra $9,000. That covered his finance charge and gave him almost $5,000 extra. Okay? Carpet King wants to drastically increase their sales, so they're offering 6-month no-interest payment plan with a minimum monthly payment of $150. So if Elton and Kiki purchase $3,200 in carpet and they make only the minimum payment for 5 months, how much will they have to pay in the 6th month in order to avoid paying a penalty? So they want to pay a penalty, but they want to get their carpet now. Okay, so always read the question through and then go through and read it again. So they purchase $3,200 in carpet and they make the minimum monthly payment for 5 months. Okay, so $3,200, and then they make the minimum monthly payment for 5 months. That's 5 times 150. That's $750. Okay, so that's what they've paid. We'll go ahead and take that away. So 3,200 minus 750. That's going to be $2,450. Now, that's what they have to pay in the 6th month. If they don't, then they're going to have to pay a penalty and go back and pay the interest for that the rest of that time. Okay. All right. Steve and Tyler purchased $15,000 of appliances at Hamilton's on Hamilton's deferred payment plan. The plan allows Stephen to make no down payment and no installments for 3 months. The entire $15,000 must be paid at the end of the 3 months. If it's not paid in full before the 3 months is up, Stephen will incur 21.6% interest back to the first day of purchase. Stephen doesn't get paid for a concert he had at the Rose Garden until a week after the due date and is therefore a week late in paying off the appliances. How much of an interest penalty does Stephen incur? Yikes. Okay. This was probably of no fault of his own. Rose Garden didn't pay him, so he couldn't pay the plan. What did that cost him? So it's going to cost him his furniture is $15,000, and he's got to pay 21% interest back to the first day of purchase. So that's 3 months. So a year's worth of interest would be 0.216. So 15,000 times 0.216. That means that a year's worth of interest is $3,240. But he doesn't have to pay the whole year because it was only 3 months. Okay, so that's 1/4 of a year. So we'll divide this by 4. So that comes out to be what? $810. So that's his penalty that he had to pay. So I suppose that Stephen, in this case, would have a case to charge the Rose Garden an additional $810 because he ended up being penalized because they didn't pay him on time. Okay. Costco is having a sale on big screen TVs. Pharrell buys a 90-inch curved screen TV for $8,500. He makes the purchase on Costco's 6-month layaway plan. His monthly payment is $1,479.29. What is the fee charge for the layaway plan? Okay, so he's going to pay $1,479.29, and it's on a 6-month layaway, so times 6. So we get out our handy-dandy TI-84 plus C Silver Edition graphing calculator, and we'll multiply that out. And that means he's going to make a total of $8,875.74 in payments. Now, the TV actually cost him $8,500. That was the original price. So we go ahead and subtract that. And the finance charge was $375.74. That's his fee, his layaway fee. Now, there's a lot of items you might not want to pay that for, but if the item's rare, it's hard to get, you need to have it for some reason, that might be your reason for paying the extra fee and putting it on layaway. Okay, let's talk about credit scores. So your credit score affects the interest rate that you're charged by a creditor. Scores can range from 350, which is terrible, to 850, which is excellent. Your credit score tells a lender the the probability of you defaulting on a loan. So if you have an 850 credit score, you're a safe bet. You're not likely to default on the loan. Defaulting means that you don't make your payments as agreed. If you've got a 350 credit score, now that's a terrible credit score, but that doesn't necessarily mean, it doesn't make you a terrible person. What that does sometimes is you just had no control over it. Like somebody loses their job and they go bankrupt and they've got all this debt and they can't pay it. That's not necessarily on them. It's just on the circumstances. But overall, what's your risk to the lender? That's what the credit score tells you. So if your credit score is below 620, you're usually considered a high risk borrower. So Mike and Tyler apply for identical loans. Mike has a credit score of 805. Tyler has a credit score of 585. Mike is offered interest rate at 3.75%, while Tyler's offered interest rate at 6.25%. What is the difference in the interest rates? Well, 6.25 minus 3.75 2.5%. That's the difference in the interest rates. If both Mike and Tyler apply for a loan of $250,000 for 30 years, Mike's payment is $1,157.79 a month. Tyler's payment is $1,539.30 a month. How much more does Tyler have to pay to borrow that money than Mike does? Okay, well, let's see. It's a 30-year loan, so that's 360 payments. So Mike is going to make 360 payments of $1,157.79. That's $416,804.40. Tyler is going to make 360 payments of $1,539.30. That's $554,148. So we can go ahead and take this, subtract this, and that means that Tyler paid an additional $137,343.60 for the exact same loan. Okay. Yeah, that's a bummer. That's why you want to keep your credit good. Okay, now you're going to do page 3 through 7 of your packet. So I've gone ahead and attached those pages to the back. It looks like it's a lot here, but you should be able to get it done. And I'm available if you need some help. So have fun with that assignment, and I'll see you next time.